Howdy, it's tubalcain once again, your YouTube shop teacher, and this set of Starrett micrometers has nothing whatsoever to do with this video. In fact, this is video shot some time ago when I went on this trip, road trip to Alumatank, and take a look at that two-part video if you haven't. But while I was on that road trip at the Kirkpatrick shop, Terry Kirkpatrick showed me his wood shop, which is in the basement, and he is a master woodworker as well as a co-owner of Alumatank. And I want to just show you a little bit around his fabulous wood shop and some of the machinery that he has in that shop. So let's take a look.
Now it takes 3 times that long.
It's a Yates American, you said.
Yeah.
Well, now we're down in the cellar here, and as a grand finale, we're seeing the Terry's wood shop, and he is a master wood craftsman, maker of chairs and many other devices, and he's got some beautiful machinery. And you know, you can never have enough clamps.
This I dug out of a well.
But I think he does have enough.
I was over picking up some pallets, and the guy had me sitting in his corner, so
Really?
I brought this home, not knowing really what kind of shape it was in, and cleaned it up a little bit, painted it, and it's a it's very slow, but much like the bandsaw there, it will just run and run and run, and it runs, effortlessly.
And no vibration.
Doesn't seem to have much for vibration
No.
at all.
And this lathe was built by Terry. Wow. And it looks like the backbone for the bed there is a large piece of tubing.
10 3/4 inch pipeline.
10 3/4 inch from a pipeline. And look at these turning tools.
Let me show you how this works. If you're working out here, you just grab this and bring it out to the area that you want to work in.
I gotta back up and get that. That is amazing.
This is what's left of Doc Beese's X-ray machine from up in Walworth. When he upgraded his dental practice, we had this setting at the road out there, and we just couldn't let him throw it away. So we drug it down to Bigfoot here, and this is how we...
So this is from an X-ray machine.
X-ray machine, yeah.
Do that again, if you will, Terry, in slow motion now. Is that amazing?
But when you're running the lathe, it's kind of nice to have it where you can move it around and have your tools right next to what you're doing.
Sure.
These are the rounders I was telling you about that came from Worcester, England.
Can you grab one of those and...
Sure can. Asham Industries.
And let's see what it looks like on the cutting edge there.
This looks a lot like a standard spoke
It
shave.
sure does.
And of course you can fine tune the cut on it, and it'll start with a pretty good sized diameter and end up with something smaller. So if you start with one that size, by the time you get down to here, you need a Coca-Cola or something. You're pretty much exhausted.
So these are essentially, you could say it's a dowel maker.
It's a rounder.
It's a rounder.
They call it a rounder.
But it's similar to a dowel maker?
It's exactly like a dowel maker.
And you have them in about 6 or 7 sizes there?
Yes.
Now, are you using these on the lathe or in the vise?
I use it either way. If you put a piece of wood in the lathe here, and you run it, of course, at a low rate of speed, just like a pencil sharpener, the shaving comes spiraling out of there.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Okay. and you bring it around.
You got a Destaco clamp on there?
So that it gets out here in the room where I can use it.
And here we got a Wilton vise.
That's a Wilton.
Awesome.
But I was running into it when I had it
Sure.
solid.
Sure.
Let me get that out of there.
And I never saw this many draw knives in one.
There's 16 on there, I think.
16 draw knives. That's a neat hammer holder. I'll get another picture on the other side. But what kind of chair do you call this?
This is exactly what you were sitting in down in the hanger.
Uh-huh.
Only this is in sugar maple rather than cherry. This is a Maloof. Sam Maloof. And this side of the chair was left like this for a demonstration we were putting on here some time ago.
Uh-huh.
None of this has been shaped to match the area on the other side. It all has to be formed to match it. The plugs need to be cut off. This needs to be dressed down.
Magnificent job.
This is kind of a finished product over here.
Very pleasing shape.
It is, and this, as you guys probably felt on the other one, fits you right, kind of in the small of the back.
Mm-hmm.
I plumbed in the electric so it would plug into my system here, and I've never fired it up. What I had proposed to do is put the mitering on this one here so I can leave it set up. I hate that switching the blade back and forth between the dado and the
Yes.
regular blade. So that I could extend out if, as I said before, my space is very limited, so I made these ends up like you see in here so that if I'm running into them, I just take the ends out. And if I got more lumber to go, I just keep adding ends into it to make it longer and longer. And it's all powder coated. They're a little sticky in there right now because I made it didn't allow enough room for them.
Because if a man would run into one and hurt his arm, he has a tendency to want to swear.
Some. Yes. You might say some nasty words. This is another thing that I've added. I couldn't get at my bench because all of this stuff used to be over here. And so I made this rack up out of our aluminum that we use for our tanks. And then I color coded it. I don't have the new labels on it yet. But hopefully when I want the, whatever it might be, drill bits, I can come over and pull whatever has the drill bits in it, and I've got them inside here, whatever size they might be.
That is an excellent idea for storage.
And I had to have something, and I had no other place to go. As you can see, the walls are no longer an option for storage.
And yet your shop here is significantly bigger than mine.
Is it?
But yet a shop is never big enough.
Those are the shave horses that I use when I'm working on Windsor chairs. I've got two of them so that the guy that works with me has got one and we can both work down here together.
And you've got a nice long workbench here.
This is a bowling alley.
I was going to say, is that a bowling alley?
It is.
Bowling lane.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
My viewers are always mesmerized by the Starrett name, you know, and I guess I am too.
How about the Wilton?
Oh.
Now that's my passion, is Wilton.
Oh
Yeah, I love
yeah,
it.
these Wilton vices, bullet vices, I guess they call them, are just gorgeous, and I don't have one this small, but that's pretty.
I just got that one here a month ago. I cleaned it up and just touched some of the old cast parts, casting edges down on it, and now it'll get a finish applied to it.
I would love to have a workbench this long. Although there's a tendency for a workbench to become a catch-all.
Well, that's what this is.
Yeah.
We call it our snow fence.
And you do have a nice selection of planes.
I've got probably 4 times that many planes down in these boxes, and I've gotten to where when I put stuff away, I found the only way I can find it is to make a checklist. And so I know if I'm looking for the small Craftsman router, there's one of them and it's in this box someplace. Because once I close the lid and I don't have it, I don't know what's in the box anymore, and I'm not about to dig to the bottom of it to find out.
I know the feeling.
That's it.
Is this a Powermatic? Well,
It is a Powermatic.
yeah, okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I thought I recognized at least the colors, the color code or color coordination that they use.
And I was able to get the grinder that fits on top of the Powermatic, so when it needs dressing.
Here's a Stanley 55, which is quite a bit more rare and desirable than the 45, and it looks like you got plenty of the cutters in the original boxes. How many cutters came originally with a 55? Do you know?
I can't answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are so many different variations to it. I was able to get the manual for the 45. I sent in and got that. So the manual explains a lot of the variations of setting the 45 up, and I think the 55 is the same exact thing with a few more added to it, although I'm not absolutely sure of that.
I think an extra fence and a
Yes.
few other things. Dwight, did your dad have any planes like this?
Yes, I still have it.
You have a 55 or a 45?
I'm not sure of the number of it, but yes. I do
Okay.
have it.
Is it in a box with extra blades?
I believe so, yes.
Well, I see them a lot at the flea markets and stuff that I go to, and some are in pretty nice shape. This is kind of borderline shape. It's not real great. I have taken the 45, I don't have it down here, but I disassembled the 45 completely and had it nickel plated after. And but I would rather have one that had a little more hanger rash on it that was functional that I could use than one that was a showpiece model.
I have a Walker Turner myself, a floor model, and it's my favorite drill press.
This one, the quill is nice and tight. The only thing I don't like about it is that it doesn't have the travel that you really would like to have in it.
Yeah, I believe it's 4 inches.
Yeah, the quill travel is a little bit short on it. This one is set up with a laser in it, so I can
Oh, you
my
got
location
the
as
got
to-
the laser.
as to where
And one thing I liked about these is that they had four handles
Yeah.
instead of the 3, and it makes a big difference.
Was it your segment or was it Ox Tool that showed how to make these?
I did it.
You did.
But maybe he did it also.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that because
Trying to get it cleaned up before you guys got here, and I just ran out of time.
oh, this is wonderful.
But it was a way to keep the trammel points and the machinist square, and
Absolutely, and boy, you got some huge dividers there,
dividers, yeah.
and calipers, and you in fact have a lot of machinist tools here in a wood shop. But I find that some machinist tools are very handy in woodworking.
They are very handy.
Nice batch of squares. This will make many men's mouths water to see this stuff.
To see all that.
All right, Terry, now what is this device again?
I don't know what you call it.
Oh, you don't have a name for it?
I don't have a name
Okay.
for it. All I know is it's using principles of leverage to your advantage. And you see that this is free in here, which offers no stability to this whatsoever until you shove it forward. When you shove it forward, it makes these spread out, which draws this point and this point tight into here.
So this would be fastened to the workbench
This would be
then?
fastened probably to the top of the bench or whatever, and you take your, and it has its limitations on thickness that will work. If it gets out here too far, the board scoots out the end.
Sure.
So it has to be, that's why I made these extra holes underneath here to just barely see. By moving this into some of these other holes, I can narrow this down to a distance that's probably 3/4 of an inch. But with a board of approximately this width that's shoved up in there, it really tightens that up to where it holds. Now if you were running a plane down the length of this here, you would have a way of holding it upright.
And you first saw this from Roy Underhill?
Roy Underhill, yeah.
Okay, so that's free of charge. That's pretty interesting.
Very charge.